Welcome to World Revolution. Today we will share summary from the book From Strength to Strength, Finding Success, Happiness, and Deep Purpose in the Second Half of Life by Arthur C. Brooks. Introduction. In From Strength to Strength, Arthur C. Brooks explores the concept of achieving lasting success and fulfillment by shifting our focus from external accomplishments to internal well-being, wisdom, and connection as we age. The overview of the book sets the stage for a journey of personal transformation, offering a roadmap for people who want to transition from the relentless pursuit of success, status, and ambition in their younger years to a life of purpose, peace, and deeper satisfaction in the later stages of life. The problem of the success addict. Brooks begins by addressing a universal dilemma faced by many high achievers. The pursuit of success is often driven by external measures, money, recognition, power, and it can become addictive. He refers to this as the success addiction, where people derive their sense of self-worth from how much they accomplish, how others perceive them, and the status they gain. However, Brooks argues that this relentless striving for success is unsustainable. As people age, cognitive abilities, physical energy, and opportunities for professional growth may naturally decline, leading to feelings of dissatisfaction, anxiety, and even despair. In the overview, Brooks presents the central question of the book: how do we transition from the earlier strengths that brought us success to the new strengths that will bring us fulfillment as we grow older? This shift requires not only a change in what we do but, more importantly, a change in how we think about success, aging, and happiness. Brooks draws on research from psychology, neuroscience, and philosophy to guide readers through the shift, showing that the key to a meaningful life isn't just about continuing to chase external rewards, but about finding new sources of joy, wisdom, and purpose. Two types of intelligence, fluid and crystallized. One of the most important concepts Brooks introduces in the book is the distinction between fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence, a framework based on the work of psychologist Raymond Cattell. Fluid intelligence refers to the ability to solve new problems, think quickly, and innovate, skills that tend to peak in our 20s and 30s. This is the type of intelligence that many people rely on to achieve success in competitive fields such as business, academia, or the arts. However, Brooks emphasizes that fluid intelligence is not sustainable as we age. As we get older, our capacity for rapid problem-solving and innovation declines, and this is where many high achievers struggle. They feel a sense of loss, as though their best days are behind them, and they often become trapped in a cycle of chasing past glory, unwilling to accept the natural changes that come with aging. But Brooks offers a hopeful alternative: crystallized intelligence. Crystallized intelligence is the ability to draw upon accumulated knowledge, wisdom, and experience. This form of intelligence grows stronger with age and is well suited for mentoring, teaching, and contributing to others in ways that rely on deep understanding rather than speed or innovation. In the overview, Brooks highlights the importance of recognizing this shift and embracing the strengths that come with it, rather than resisting the natural changes that aging brings. The key shift: moving from achievement to service. Brooks argues that one of the most important shifts people must make to age successfully is moving from a focus on personal achievement to a focus on service and connection. In the earlier stages of life, many people are driven by individual success, building careers, achieving personal goals, and striving for recognition. But as they age, this drive can become less fulfilling, especially if it remains rooted in the same desire for external validation. The overview emphasizes that a key to lasting happiness is to shift our focus from what we achieve for ourselves to what we can contribute to others. Brooks suggests that instead of holding on to the desire for more accolades or personal triumphs, we can find deeper meaning by mentoring younger generations, sharing our wisdom, and building strong relationships. This shift toward service not only brings fulfillment but also aligns with the natural growth of crystallized intelligence as we age. By turning outward and finding joy in helping others, individuals can experience a new kind of success, one that is based on relationships, community, and legacy, rather than on individual accomplishments. This service-oriented approach also helps combat the loneliness and sense of purposelessness that often accompany aging, as people who are focused on serving others tend to feel more connected and valued. the happiness curve and the importance of letting go. In From Strength to Strength, Brooks introduces the concept of the happiness curve, a U-shaped pattern in which people's happiness often declines in middle age but then rises again later in life, particularly for those who successfully make the mental and emotional shifts that the book advocates. The overview discusses how this curve is a natural phenomenon, supported by research, and how it reflects the way many people feel as they transition from the first half of life, marked by striving and achievement, to the second half, which can be marked by a sense of purpose, peace, and fulfillment. A key theme in the overview is the importance of letting go of the need for external validation, the attachment to past successes, and the fear of aging. Brooks explains that one of the reasons many high achievers struggle with aging is because they are unable to let go of their old identities. They try to maintain the same level of achievement and recognition as they did when they were younger, which can lead to burnout, frustration, and even despair. Brooks encourages readers to let go of this need to continuously win and instead embrace a new phase of life where wisdom, contentment, and contribution take precedence. By letting go of the ego-driven need for success, individuals can open themselves up to new possibilities for growth, happiness, and peace. The role of faith, philosophy, and inner strength. Another key element of the book's overview is Brooks' discussion of the role of spirituality, faith, and philosophy in this transition. He suggests that part of moving from success to fulfillment involves cultivating an inner life that is rich with meaning, whether through religion, philosophy, or personal reflection. The second half of life offers an opportunity to explore deeper questions about existence, purpose, and the human condition, questions that often take a back seat during the intense pursuit of external success in earlier years. Brooks advocates for developing inner strength through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, or prayer, as well as through philosophical reflection. This internal focus helps individuals develop a sense of peace and contentment that is not reliant on external achievements, making them more resilient to the inevitable changes that come with aging. In the overview of From Strength to Strength, Arthur C. Brooks lays out the essential message of the book: the key to lasting happiness and fulfillment lies not in continuing to chase the same kinds of success that may have defined our younger years, but in embracing the changes that come with aging and finding new strengths, particularly in the realms of wisdom, service, and inner peace. The book serves as a guide for people at any stage of life who want to prepare for a fulfilling second half, encouraging them to shift their focus from external measures of success to deeper, more meaningful sources of happiness. Brooks' overview offers a hopeful and empowering message. While aging may bring challenges, it also brings new opportunities for growth, connection, and contribution. By understanding the transition from fluid to crystallized intelligence, learning to let go of the relentless pursuit of achievement, and focusing on serving others and cultivating an inner life, individuals can navigate the second half of life with strength, purpose, and joy. Professional decline is inevitable, but that isn't a bad thing. What do you think when you hear the name Charles Darwin? Successful scientist, or complete failure? Of course, most people would consider Darwin's career to be a massive success. At 22, he boarded a royal ship and embarked on a now famous scientific expedition, spending 5 years scouring the globe to collect the exotic plant and animal samples that would earn him an esteemed spot in history. At 27, he developed the theory of natural selection, which proposes that organisms best adapted to their environment are most likely to thrive through survival of the fittest. At 50, he published On the Origin of Species, his best-selling magnum opus that changed science forever. Today, Darwin is a household name. His theory of natural selection is taught in countless classrooms around the world. His writing has been read by billions. He's hailed as the father of evolution and is buried in Westminster Abbey as a national hero. To say he made an impact on humankind would be an understatement. And yet, Darwin died considering himself a failure. Why? Like many successful professionals, Darwin couldn't bear to see his career decline as he approached old age. Publishing On the Origin of Species at 50 was the peak of his career, and from there, he'd no place to go but down. From 50 to 73, Darwin found himself stuck in a period of creative stagnation. No more scientific breakthroughs. No more industry-defining books. And for Darwin, that meant no more purpose. "I have not the heart or strength at my age to begin any investigations lasting years, which is the only thing which I enjoy," he lamented to a friend. "I have everything to make me happy and contented, but life has become very wearisome to me." Fame and fortune meant nothing to Darwin in his later years. What he wanted was to achieve new scientific progress and success, and eventually, doing so was simply beyond his abilities. Charles Darwin was a brilliant scientist. But whether you followed in his footsteps or taken a different path entirely, you and the father of evolution have a lot in common. You see, Darwin's professional decline was completely normal and predictable. Whether dancer, doctor, painter, or pilot, one thing is sure: one day, you'll face a similar decline in your career. The prefrontal cortex is to blame for that pesky phenomenon. It's the part of the brain responsible for working memory, executive function, and the ability to focus. A strong prefrontal cortex enables you to improve upon your specialty, whether that's writing sonnets or performing heart surgery. And it also happens to be the first part of the brain to decline in adulthood. Study after study shows that in almost every high-skill profession, decline sets in sometime between one's late 30s and early 50s. Consider the research of Northwestern University professor Benjamin Jones, for instance. He's spent years studying when people are most likely to make prize-winning scientific breakthroughs and key inventions. Drawing from over a century's worth of data, Jones found that the most common age for great discovery is one's late 30s. From there, the likelihood of having a Darwinian breakthrough declines dramatically through one's 40s, 50s, and 60s. By 70, the probability of producing a major innovation is approximately zero. The same pattern plays out across many other industries. In aviation, air traffic controllers are mandated to retire at 56 because the consequences of declining abilities are too dangerous. Only about 5% of startup founders are over 60. And in a recent study of Canadian anesthesiologists, researchers found that physicians over 65 are 50% more likely to be found at fault for malpractice than their younger peers. These statistics may sound disheartening. But here's the good news: they don't have to be a source of stress. In fact, they shouldn't be. With the right mindset and toolkit, you can reframe a decline in professional abilities as an opportunity to pivot toward new types of success, and make the present even more fulfilling than the past. Crystallized intelligence is your secret weapon in the second stage of life. Of course, pivoting toward new types of success in the second half of adulthood sounds much easier said than done. So, where should you start? To find out, let's look at the research of British psychologist Raymond Cattell. According to Cattell, there are two types of human intelligence: fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. Cattell defined fluid intelligence as the ability to reason, think flexibly, and solve novel problems. It might help someone solve complex mathematical equations, devise new inventions, or, in Darwin's case, make a breakthrough scientific discovery. But here's the kicker: fluid intelligence is highest in early adulthood and declines dramatically starting in one's 30s and 40s. Eventually, it will fail you. Fortunately, that's where crystallized intelligence comes into play. Cattell defined crystallized intelligence as a person's knowledge gained during life by acculturation and learning. Since crystallized intelligence relies on accumulated knowledge, it increases through one's 40s, 50s, and 60s, and doesn't decline until much later in life. In other words, young people have the ability to think on their feet and recall facts. But older people are uniquely able to better understand and apply that knowledge. If your career hinges on fluid intelligence, you're bound to experience eventual disappointment, much like Darwin did. But if your career relies on crystallized intelligence, or you can pivot to a path that does, you can find deep fulfillment and professional success in the second half of life. Teaching is one of the most popular career paths that relies on crystallized intelligence. In fact, a recent study in the Chronicle of Higher Education found that the oldest college professors typically had the best teaching evaluations within departments. This was especially true in the humanities, where professors received lower ratings early in their careers and continuously improved throughout their 60s and 70s. But that doesn't mean you have to enter academia to achieve success in your second half of adulthood. Crystallized intelligence is essential in many different settings, from college lecture halls to the C-suite. Take the startup world, for instance. A young, scrappy entrepreneur may be able to generate several new business ideas a day, but they'll likely rely on a wise, experienced advisory board to tell them which ones are most likely to succeed and why. The Roman orator Cicero had a few fundamental beliefs about older age. First, it should be dedicated to service. Second, the greatest gift at this stage of life is wisdom, which can and should be passed down. Third, one's natural strength in older age is to mentor, advise, and teach others. And finally, our focus shouldn't be on amassing worldly rewards like money, power, or prestige, rather, it should be on giving back. So rather than regretting the decline of your fluid intelligence, relish in your rising crystallized intelligence, and put this unique gift to good use by shaping younger generations. Your wisdom can serve others well. Success often means knowing when to walk away. Let's travel back in time for a moment to meet a Roman dictator named Lucius Quinctius Cincinnatus. It was 458 BC, and Rome was under siege. What happened next? The answer may seem anticlimactic. Cincinnatus led Rome to victory, remained in power just until it returned to stability, then abruptly resigned, retiring to a small farm, where he proceeded to lead a quiet life with his family. If Cincinnatus had decided to remain dictator, however, we may not even know about him today. Clinging on to power, he probably would have grown ineffective and unpopular. Perhaps he'd even have been assassinated, as other ambitious statesmen were. But that isn't true. History remembers Cincinnatus as a virtuous leader. In fact, there's even an American city, Cincinnati, Ohio, named after him today. Cincinnatus is admired for one powerful reason: he knew when to walk away. That's a lesson we'd all benefit from internalizing in older age. In fact, these summaries wouldn't exist if the book's author, Arthur C. Brooks, hadn't known when to walk away. You see, Brooks never dreamed of being a social scientist, best-selling author, think tank leader, or Harvard professor. As a child, he had just one life goal: to become the world's best French horn player. Growing up, he played his instrument for multiple hours every single day of the week. His bedroom walls were decorated with photos of famous horn players. He studied with the best local music teachers his family could afford and was consistently lauded for his talent. At 19, Brooks began playing professionally in a touring chamber music ensemble. While others his age were off at college, he toured the country playing 100 concerts per year. By 21, he'd seen all 50 states and 15 foreign countries. When he turned on the radio, he'd occasionally hear albums he'd worked on. His dream of becoming the world's best horn player felt well within reach. Then, the unexpected happened. In his early 20s, Brooks started getting worse. Desperate to stay on top, he started visiting famous teachers and practicing more than ever before. But nothing helped. Brooks experienced blow after blow. Pieces that were once walks in the park became challenging to play, and pieces that were already challenging became impossible. For 9 long years, he continued to play the French horn and pray for a miraculous return to his former abilities. But it never materialized. So at 31, Brooks, like Cincinnatus, walked away. He abandoned his lifelong dream. As you can imagine, this was a painful process. His entire life up until that point had been singularly focused on one specific goal, and that was no longer attainable. But Brooks carried on. He had the courage to find a new future, and that made all the difference. By now, you know where the story is going. Since pivoting away from music in 1994, Brooks has found tremendous professional success and personal fulfillment as a social scientist, think tank president, university professor, and best-selling author. He's unlocked new talents that he uses to benefit many through his work. And yet, none of this is what he'd imagined life had in store for him. Let that be a lesson as you navigate your own professional journey. Where one opportunity ends, another begins, and to find your purpose in the second stage of life, you must embrace change and tread new pathways. Doing so may take courage, but it'll be worth it. Shake your reliance on worldly success and rewards to find true fulfillment. Finally, there are two enemies you'll want to avoid while navigating your way through the second stage of life. First, addiction to work and success, and second, attachment to worldly rewards. Across industries and around the world, many high-achieving professionals are wired to crave continuous success. But workaholism is a serious problem. Addicted to success, workaholics depend on the dopamine hit that results from receiving money, power, or prestige. However, these chemical highs are short-lived, they don't lead to lasting happiness. And as we discussed earlier, success won't look the same later in life due to declining abilities. That can be devastating for workaholics, who might have identity crises or crash and burn when their professional abilities start shifting. To avoid this, you must recognize that you can't rely on professional success to achieve happiness. As the famous former Formula One race car driver Alex Diaz-Ribeiro wrote, "Unhappy is he who depends on success to be happy." Rather than finding happiness solely in professional success, turn to outlets that will never fail you, whether that's family, friendships, or faith. Working until you die and neglecting all else is not success. Leading a balanced life of fulfillment is. One way to put your priorities into perspective is by distinguishing between resume virtues and eulogy virtues. As their name implies, resume virtues are professional and indicate stereotypical earthly success. For example, she won a gold medal at the 2016 Olympics, or he raised $100 billion in venture capital for his startup. By their very nature, these virtues require comparison with others. On the other hand, eulogy virtues require no comparison at all. They are ethical and spiritual, what you'd want people to talk about at your funeral. For example, a few eulogy virtues might be, she was incredibly kind to everyone who crossed her path, he was the most generous person I knew, or, her sunny spirit always lit up the room. Workaholics may find it hard to focus on developing eulogy virtues. They're trained to specialize and be the best, and virtues like kindness and generosity may not strike them as worthy aspirations, simply because they aren't rare or special enough. They may think, anyone can be kind, but not anyone can build a software business from the ground up. Why would I focus on developing eulogy virtues, when resume virtues are what got me ahead in the first place? However, that's where a crucial reality check is in order. After all, as you age, resume virtues fade right along with fluid intelligence. It's eulogy virtues that stick with you, growing stronger and stronger with each passing year. What's more, resume virtues don't deliver lasting fulfillment like eulogy virtues do. By relinquishing work's all-consuming grip on your life, you'll be freed to focus on deepening virtues that deliver lasting happiness, and well on your way to leading a truly meaningful second half of life. Conclusion. Aging isn't something to be feared. With the right roadmap, you can make the second half of life even more meaningful than the first, finding lasting fulfillment in the present rather than wistfully living in the past. And here's some more actionable advice. Reconsider your bucket list. Pull out your bucket list and examine it with a critical eye. Which items will deliver you worldly rewards and which will bring about lasting happiness? Deprioritize items that fall into the first category and focus on everything else. This is where you'll find fulfillment in the second half of life. In short, aging isn't something to be feared. With the right roadmap, you can make the second half of life even more meaningful than the first, finding lasting fulfillment in the present rather than wistfully living in the past. And there are always things you can do to focus on the right things. Pull out your bucket list and examine it with a critical eye. Which items will deliver you worldly rewards, and which will bring about lasting happiness? Deprioritize items that fall into the first category and focus on everything else. Be kind to yourself when you notice your fluid intelligence fading, as it inevitably will, and look for ways to put your growing crystallized intelligence to use. This is where you'll find fulfillment in the second half of life, and how you can keep yourself moving from strength to strength. Thank you for listening. I hope this content is useful to you. If you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel to support our team.